Hey there, I'm Joe Carter. If you've ever popped the hood and thought, where do I even start? You're in good company. Around here, we take the mystery out of car repair, one fix at a time. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to sharpen your skills, there's something here for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're into learning without the headaches. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get into it.
Most of all, cylinder block boring is of interest to car owners concerned about compression. Viewing a large number of videos for many becomes a revelation. They realize that it will be extremely difficult to cope with this case correctly at home. Despite the fact that many experts recommend that the operation be carried out in a car service, those who want to master the nuances of the operation are becoming more and more. And video views alone are not limited to this. In search of useful information, an interested motorist spams forums and websites, trying to find an easy-to-understand instruction. But in most cases in vain. Folk ways how to bore a cylinder. So, closer to the topic. Bore the cylinder block at home can be done without special equipment by several folk methods. They will require not only time, which goes without saying, but also patience. On the other hand, most experts agree that it is still necessary to use a machine. A boring machine will allow you to fit the cylinder perfectly, although much will depend on the skills of the person. But compared with the manual method of boring, minimizes the share of scrap. Method 1 method, although grandfatherly, but also without a tool, does not do without. Here a good electric drill, set at low speed, is suitable. A worn piston with a gap in the liner side is also obligatory. And you will also need a cylinder stud, as well as sandpaper with a different number of abrasive. In the car service, not paper, but abrasive crumbs are used. Instead of a drill, as mentioned above, a special machine with a collar with a proper diameter is used. Repair process: a hole is drilled in the middle of the piston for the cylinder stud. The stud is tightened firmly. A cut is cut through the piston with a metal hacksaw. The resulting hole is inserted into the resulting hole, and then wrapped around the piston. This peculiar attachment is installed in the drill, tightened tightly. The cylinder is fixed from turning. The drill is turned on to a small revolution. Boring starts from top to bottom and then from bottom to top. Note: in the process of such boring, it is necessary to make sure that the skin does not come out of the piston. At first a coarse sandpaper is used, then a finer one. At the final stage, grinding should be carried out with Zalewka. Some experts also advise boring of the cylinder block, at the same time using oil. Others do not agree with this opinion, as they believe that the dry boring is not bad. The latter option is more favorable to us, the more so, evenness and smoothness can be felt with your hands, if you have a certain skill. A useful recommendation says, in order not to beat off your hands in the process of grinding with an electric drill, it is recommended to fix the cylinder well, but try not to damage it in the process. You will also find the video about honing useful. Two-way wooden mandrel will be used as the basic tool in this case. But it will be necessary to contact a milling machine operator who will turn out this mandrel. The technology of mandrel manufacturing is based on the following formula: if the cylinder to be bored is 76, the mandrel from the bar should have a diameter of 74 mm. As for the length, it should be greater than the size of the cylinder by 200 mm. A hole is drilled in the mandrel. With a hacksaw, a cut is cut along the mandrel. Abrasive paper is inserted into it, as in the above case. Note: the approximate depth of the groove should be equal to 10 mm. The abrasive paper, as in the first case, should be both coarse and fine. Let's get to work. Instructions for work: abrasive paper is wrapped around the mandrel. The abrasive paper is abundantly wetted with oil. The mandrel is used to bore the cylinder. It is necessary to rotate the mandrel inside the cylinder with a large-sized abrasive paper, trying to achieve free movement on the surface. Then change the paper to a fine one and continue. The best sanders in the world are the Japanese. Their secret is immense patience. It's the same here. You have to be patient, otherwise you won't get anywhere. You should not rush in the process of cylinder boring. Simple tips on how to bore a cylinder. It is ideal to bore the cylinders that contain a car engine block. The piston should sit tightly inside without shifting downward from its own weight. The ideal for boring cylinders that contain a motorcycle engine block, the piston inside the cylinder should pass easily, but not dangle too much either, as it will wedge up from physical expansion when heated. Learning how to bore with your own hands correctly, you will no longer be concerned about the problem that occurs with most owners of used cars. Avoid low compression of the internal combustion engine on used cars is hardly possible, but to bore and increase compression theoretically everyone can. Related articles, discussion Shvajik Sergei Alexandrovich. It would be nice to have a compact rotary tool based and mounted on the upper surface of the cylinder block with a rotator for cylinder boring and grinding. Then in place of the rotating head to put the nozzle of gas flame powder spraying knee shafts of diesel locomotives, and spray the surface of the cylinders to the nominal size, or under a slightly podnosive Shishigo nominal piston with subsequent grinding to size. Increased height of the upper groove of the compression ring, from flaking at work, to increase boring on the lathe, tuned, cut-off cutter, in half. The second groove is not subject to as much wear as the top groove, even in a diesel, as a rule. To install 2 nominal upper compression native rings, with the calculated height clearance, or width height, under the appropriate diameter for thinner rings, according to tables you can pick up without making the groove too high. Such a piston used without scoring will serve for a very long time on a gasoline engine. How to bore a cylinder block. How to bore a block with your own hands. In conclusion, boring a cylinder by yourself can be a rewarding and cost-effective process if done correctly. With the right tools, careful measurements, and a bit of patience, you can achieve professional results in your own workshop. Remember to prioritize safety and take your time to ensure precision. Whether you're working on a classic car or a modern engine, mastering this skill can enhance your mechanical knowledge and improve your projects. Thank you for watching, and we hope this guide has inspired you to take on the challenge of boring a cylinder on your own.